Guys, what's up, wrestling fans, guys and girls? What's up, especially to the girls? No, but no, this started weird. There's just a lot of bizarre news that I just don't care to cover. But I do have a couple things that are good that I want to talk about, I believe. But first, I want to tell you guys. A lot of you guys have been asking me where to reach me. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay low for right now on Twitter just because of this whole thing. It's kind of pissed me off, and I'll probably launch a new one again next week, and I will use my VPN to stay out of the, giving out my location to Twitter. That way they won't ban another one, perhaps. I don't know. So what I'm going to do right now, if you really need to get a hold of me on Twitter, and I definitely suggest you do get on Twitter and send me stuff on Twitter still, at CorruptedPod. The Corrupted Podcast Twitter account. It's at CorruptedPod, P-O-D. So if you really need to get a hold of me on Twitter and you really miss my Twitter, at CorruptedPod, go over there and follow that. If you have Snapchat, many of you have asked me about Snapchat. I have had a Snapchat for years. I just never almost use it, but now I'm going to be using it a lot more based on the fact that, Twitter sucks. So check out my Snapchat. It's just Joe Cronin Show. It's the only one. So just Joe Cronin Show is my Snapchat. Add me on there and whatever else. A really good way, I think, to get a hold of me to see pictures and stuff. I'm going to be posting a lot more than I used to. Probably a lot more videos than I used to. Will be my Instagram account. So I will be posting a lot more on my Instagram account. I'm also going to create a YouTube vlogging channel where I can post like little stupid things, maybe funny stuff, random songs, random things I do that I don't necessarily want to go up onto my YouTube channel, but I do want to go out to people who care an extra amount. So you're probably going to see that on my YouTube vlogging channel. You're probably going to start to see a little bit of that on Patreon if you guys want that on Patreon as well. I'm going to be doing a patron Q&A tonight before we do Corrupted. Corrupted will be live at 1 a.m. Actually, you know something? I wasn't sure yet if I was going to do that or if I was going to go live on YouTube for a Q&A. I think I might do a Q&A live on YouTube, to be honest, tonight, and then transition over to the Corrupted podcast that will be available for patrons tonight on patreon.com. And after Corrupted is over, I'm hoping that me and Ken and Justin Bailey can do a Q&A for the patrons on Patreon, live on Patreon right after podcast is over, for like 20 minutes. It will be for all $5 or more patrons. That way, it's an exclusive for you guys. Yeah, at least $5 a month you'll hear it. So there's all the news about that, what's going on the channel, behind the scenes stuff. Shout out to everybody who dropped the support last night on Monetize This. Very thankful for that. You guys helped fund a lot of new equipment I needed here, along with, of course, supporting the channel. Anyway, moving on. I just don't care that much about potential spoiler of WWE star to Impact Wrestling. Kevin Owens talking WWE anniversary. Steve Corino on the WWE PC strips away talent's individuality. I don't care about that. Another MMA fighter trash talks Brock. Okay, that's a side story. Matt Morgan on being bitter towards WWE. I mean, these are all stories that are just fucking trash right now. Like wrestling, like what is going on right now? Like that, there is nothing in those that I want to talk about. A star in the UK injured. I mean, that's terrible, but I don't want to talk about an injury right now. 30 greatest SummerSlam moments. Right now, I'm not into that. Asuka talking about breaking records. I don't care about that. John Cena posts photo of Baron Corbin, Nikki Bella, women's tag titles. I don't know. Does he post a photo of him with him? Oh, God. If he does, I'm going to puke. Die, kayfabe, die if he does. I don't care. Big veto on wearing a dress in the WWE. I mean, what the fuck? What is this news? Finn Balor tweets Bullet Club. I mean, you couldn't have any more generic, just horseshit news stories today. Triple H says there haven't been recent conversations with Ronda Rousey about signing with WWE. We don't know why. Why is Ronda Rousey training there though? Because we know Ronda Rousey has shown up to the NXT area, to the training facility, but no talks of signing. I don't understand. I don't know if they just said, "Hey, come by, kind of hang out, train with us, mess around, and see how you like this," sort of thing. And I don't get it. Or if that got out by accident. I mean, it seemed like they were sort of touting that out there. Not touting, because tout is that old video thing that's dead. Hey, maybe they should bring back tout so I can go on tout instead of Twitter, since all my Twitters are banned except for @CorruptedPod. Why WWE canceled weekly WWE NXT Insider series? I mean, do we really care? They probably canceled it because of ratings, but let's click on the news story and maybe talk about it for a second, just for the fun of it. Let's see if it's ratings. The cancellation of the weekly NXT Insider hosted by Kathy Kelly was said to be another budget cut. Recently stopped using Pyro. Yeah, we know all about this. So just another budget cut. I mean, nobody was watching that show almost, I got to believe. If let's say 20% of the WWE audience, and I really do believe it's got to be 20%, right? Like, let's say 100, let's say, okay, if NXT is able to sell out at SummerSlam, able to sell out in Florida, able to sell out in Dallas, able to sell out everywhere, and those people bought tickets, those are hardcore people that bought tickets to NXT takeovers, we're talking there's at least 200,000 people that want to definitely go see WWE live at a takeover. So you got to believe that it's, it's funny when we have wrestlers on here and we have people from the WWE telling me that the audience for NXT is a tiniest fraction of the WWE audience. I really don't think that that's 100% true. I think the weekly NXT show, I believe, is probably getting viewed by maybe 100 to 300,000 people, right? The weekly NXT show on the network is getting viewed by maybe up to 300,000 people. And that's a guess. I have no idea. I wish WWE would release ratings on those. That'd be interesting if they could do that, but I'm sure they don't need to. They don't want to. Why would they? But the takeovers, I'm assuming that NXT takeovers are getting upwards around 500,000 to 1.5 million. I would think. And that's somewhere in there, 500,000 people to 1 million people have got to be watching NXT takeovers. And if 3 million people are watching Raw average, you're talking about probably, let's say, 1/4 of the audience. Can we say 1/4 of the audience is watching NXT? That's like 25% of the audience. We were always being led to believe that it's 5% of the audience or 3% of the audience, but that just simply can't be true. So you got to assume that if weekly people are watching NXT, the weekly program, about 100,000 to 350,000 people are watching the weekly NXT program, whether it's the night it airs or within a few days after. NXT Insider is probably only drawing maybe 30 to 50. I would guess maybe 30 to 50,000 people. And if you're putting on a show like that with a budget for maybe 50,000 people, that's my guess at how many people watched it. That is not even worth it, 50,000 people you might as well just put it on YouTube. But even so, it's still a waste of, I suppose, resources. You might as well put me on there. Put a guy on there reviewing it under a green screen. I mean, the whole thing ends up just being a waste. I don't know why WWE doesn't think of that. Use the creative community in the YouTube world. I don't know if they would use somebody like me, because I can be very critical and whatever else. But I dare them to. Maybe they don't have the balls. I wish they did. Have a person like that do the YouTube channel show or do the show on the network, and have them produce the whole thing. Tell them, hey, listen, you want to work for the WWE on a freelance basis? Produce this NXT show that we'll approve, and you can do the whole thing yourself. We will give you damn near no resources other than some access to wrestlers on phone call interviews or Skype chat, and allow them 1 to 3 guests per week, and give them, and just let them do it. Let them do the show. If you told Joe Cronin, if you told me, hey, we want to have this NXT recap show because 50,000 people did enjoy it, but it was just fundamentally and fund-wise ridiculous. It made no sense. We lost money. Well, how much was it to produce that show? You know what I mean? How much was it to actually produce that NXT show, that NXT live show? I mean, I'm going to guess for them to have to cut something like this, I'm going to guess somewhere between the amount of $5,000 to $15,000 a week, maybe. Let's say $5,000 to $15,000 a week between the cameras, the crews, the lights. I mean, how many people were working on that damn show? The editing, 3 to 5 people, or is it more than that? If it's 3 to 5 people, you're talking about, maybe I don't know. I have no idea. We don't have the numbers, but even if it's $1,000, you know what I mean? You could pay Joe Cronin, myself, right now. You could pay me to stand in front of a green screen with the NXT logo that you provide, the WWE provides, and it's my job to edit and film and write and produce this 20-minute or 30-minute show weekly. And you're talking about probably you could pay me, I don't know, you could probably pay me $300 a week, and I would produce the show that would go on the WWE Network. I would host it, write it, set up the interviews, do all that stuff. And just the idea of being on the WWE show and being on the WWE Network would be enough to take that sort of obvious pay cut. But I'm sure you could find some schleb to do it who would do a good job. Like I just said, I would do it. It would be nice to get paid the correct amount, which would be about $1,000 a week or $800 a week. But, whatever. If you told me that that was worth it, and then it clearly would be, then I would absolutely do that. It would take, maybe take 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours between filming, editing, doing the interviews you want, building the story for next week and all that other crap, and then sending it to WWE to make sure it gets approved for their continuity of their storylines and what they want produced. You're talking about 10 hours of work costing you perhaps $200 to $300 a week, whereas right now, that same amount of time and work is maybe costing them anywhere between, I don't know the range, but let's pretend low 3,000, high 20,000 per week. I don't think it's that much per week. I think maybe it's 3,000 per week is more accurate. Maybe 3,000 to 5,000 per week. When you're talking about a couple cameramen, the girl who does the hosting and the editing process and that sort of thing. So right there, I saved you money, and you use talent that is minor league, so to speak, if you want to call YouTubers minor league, if you want to call what I do minor league, if you want to call the fact that I was a nobody and I took my YouTube channel to almost 50,000 subscribers, that I've produced over 35 million views as a nobody who's not known other than making myself known on this platform, a guy who's had over 500,000 downloads on iTunes, not coming directly from my YouTube channel and a different project years ago. I mean, I know how to create a show and make it work, so you could really utilize that. I'm not trying to put myself out there to get a job. I'm just saying, anybody, it doesn't even have to be me. Make it somebody else in the community or in the YouTube area, or even in minor radio, or anybody that has a drive to do something like this. Sure, I'll just be mad when they hire that person, they don't hire me, but I'm just saying, there are people that are willing to do things for not a lot of money. And right now, that would be like a third job for me, and it would be extra income. I would certainly do that and produce that show, and I would do everything that it would take to put on that show. Hell, you know what? Maybe I'll start doing it. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I will do that. How about that? Maybe I'll do that. I will bring back WWE NXT Inside Look or Inside Take. I'm going to look at what the format of the show was. I'll reformat it for myself, and I will do whatever the hell it is they do. I don't know if that's possible, though, because honestly, there's your point right there. I do watch NXT, but it's never on Wednesday nights. It's always days later that I watch it, and I haven't been doing any reviews on it, and I definitely have not watched the Inside Take or whatever it was called, and it got maybe that's why it got canceled. It was the Insider series, I suppose. How am I supposed to be an insider, though, from my home and not in the WWE? I don't know, but whatever. Road Dogg wants some competitor to be on SmackDown from the Mae Young Classic. Who gives a shit? You should probably want a lot of those women to be on SmackDown. But please don't come to SmackDown or Raw, because stay in NXT where we can actually like you. And finally, you know, there's just no news right now. Like, the news is horse shit. This is a day where I do envy guys like Sean, because this is a clickbait day. This is the type of day where you put out a clickbait video, and you talk about something. And I may yet still do that. And what I would do is I would put out a video that says, like, my 3 reasons why, you know, Brock Lesnar sucks. You know, something like that. I'd be like, whoa, what the hell is that about? You know? So this is a good day for a video like that, but I'm babbling on. So the last thing I want to speak to you guys about is, well, first of all, I want to thank Corey Anderson for becoming a $5 patron a month on patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Thanks for becoming a patron, my friend. You are supporting the show with your patronage. Also, a shout out to Pro Wrestling Crate. If you guys want to get the monthly Wrestling Crate, tons of autographs, guys. I mean, we had a great autograph last month. It was just a great time opening these boxes. I have acquired so many wrestlers' autographs from these boxes. It's incredible, and I want to thank them. ProWrestlingCrate.com. Use coupon code Cronin. And if you use the coupon code Cronin, you guys will get a percentage off that. If you've already tried Pro Wrestling Crate, but you want to try WrestleCrate, hop on over to WrestleCrate.com and use coupon code Joesentme. Just, you know, if you have only tried one, try the other one. I think they're both really good, but sometimes one's better one month, the other's better the other month. Sometimes you'll get lucky and both are nasty. And if that's the case, man, you got your fucking money's worth for about $50. You got 2 crates with multiple shirts, multiple items, multiple stuff, the most wrestling gear you can get anywhere. It beats the WWE Slam Crate. Let me tell you, the official WWE Slam Crate was horseshit compared to these boxes. How is it that the actual WWE crate is worse than these 2 crates that started up as individual businesses? WWE 2K18 footage being released, and it looks phenomenal. The comparison shots of last year's game and the year before's games is unmatched. It's almost unbelievable. I know it's before in the years they've said, oh, this looks so damn real, looks so damn good. But I'm telling you, this is absolutely incredible this year. Like every detail is there. But my concern is whenever you make something look so fucking beautiful, you always give up gameplay, I feel like. So I just hope they improve the gameplay. I don't care if Brock Lesnar looks like a turd nugget, as long as the gameplay is good. And we have had some issues with gameplay over the, obviously 2K is always, I'm not a big fan of 2K in any way. So but they have done a really good job over the last few years in many different ways. But there's also many things that they could improve upon. And I'm wondering this year, is this going to be one of those step-back glitchy years because of the improvement of the visuals? Or is this going to be a year where they were able to finally catch the visuals up to where they wanted, so the game plays almost exactly the same as last year, but they got the visuals bumped up and they put everything into the looks? But I'm hoping for the double down, which would be the gameplay is better, and the visuals are also amazing and have bumped up as well. That will give you a whole score higher than last year's game. We'll see what WWE 2K18 can do. Guys, once again, Instagram.com/Joe Cronin Show. Follow me for weird pictures, weird videos, and updates. Also, Snapchat me, Joe Cronin Show. My Twitter is still suspended, and the new one's suspended, so the only Twitter I have left for you to contact me on is @CorruptedPod. And reminder, Corrupted Podcast will be live tonight at 1 a.m., and I'll be live with a special Q&A on YouTube, free for everyone before that, and we'll be live on Patreon again after Corrupted Podcast with a special Q&A with me, Ken, and Justin Bailey as well. So, there you go. What else? Leave in the comments down below what you guys got to say, what you think. What are you thinking about all these wrestling stories that suck? Do you think there's better wrestling news that I didn't talk about? Ask me questions down below. I may make a video on just your questions below because I could use the ammunition today. I did not look at Twitter to see because I haven't followed all the people I wanted to follow to get information about what's going on out there. The Broken Hardy gimmick, is it going to come? Is it going to be woke? Enlightenment, awakening, I don't know. My name is Joe Cronin. You guys are the shit, and I will see you tonight, if not in another video. Now here's some more videos you might have missed. So if you missed them, click on them. Also, don't forget that when you come onto YouTube, go to my channel first. It helps me out. And also, if you leave YouTube, go to somebody else's channel first because the algorithm knows